Okay. Let's hit it. Yay, reggae. Welcome. Ah. So I really like the new keyboard from SteelSeries. I'm impressed so far.
That's good.
Hmm
The front of it is also cursed.
I did figure it uses two different USBs to plug in. One is for the keyboard, the other is for the gay seizure that it has every time you hit a key. So I did figure out if you just unplug the other one, the keyboard still works and it just doesn't light up. Ah. Perfectly calm, man. I'm perfectly calm.
Slug in between the eyes.
Look, another one. You let
Saying.
one human in and in no time you've got a swarm.
Just calm down. Don't do it. When I do
Don't
the
do it.
rating every Seahawks draft pick in 2023 with memes video short, I should use that clip for Jackson Smith and Jigba.
That's fantastic. Yes, I agree completely.
Don't try anything.
Anything's possible, Drop Top, but I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe we rest starters for that game if things are clinched by kickoff.
Let's go drink, friends. I'm gonna get us drunk. Why's
Things-
that? They stole it. The plowing bird stole it.
Okay, so actually, let's take a look. If the season ended today, the Pistons would have the top pick. The Spurs would have the second pick. Washington would have the third pick. Charlotte would be fourth. Portland would be fifth. And San Antonio also gets Toronto's pick as of right now. So that's two picks in the top 7. All right.
You know, speaking of San Antonio, which you mentioned, they lost again tonight. Wembanyama played like shit again tonight. And I'm sitting there like, people are hyping up like, let me check something real quick. $17.2. Wembanyama averages more points per game than Chet does. He averages 1 more point per game than Chet does. But the difference in efficiency is outrageous. Like, Wembanyama is shooting 43% from the field and 27% from 3 on 5 attempts
Then
a
what's the
game.
grin for?
Night after night, I dreamed of my dead wife for years.
That is
Let's
awful.
go for some liquor.
Whereas
Drinks on me.
Chet is averaging 4 threes a game, shooting 37%, and is 53% on the year, shooting regardless. So, like, he's playing way more efficient basketball to a ridiculous level. But everyone's like, well, Wembanyama's numbers are higher. Who the fuck cares? He's actually playing. Like, if you gave Chet a max contract, you get your money's worth. You gave Wembanyama a max contract, you're dooming your franchise. I mean, Chet's a rookie, and he's already showing the capability to where he can, at some point in his career, be a 50, 40, 90 player. He's on 53% shooting already, 37 from 3, and 85% from the foul line. He just needs to improve a tiny bit, and he's basically Dirk.
Wow. And
Wembanyama was drafted as being an amazing stretch big, and he shoots like shit. Unbelievable. Also, for what it's worth, everyone keeps talking about how Wembanyama gets a shitload of blocks. It only averages 0.3 less blocks per game than Wembanyama does.
yeah, I remember some people saying that
Flat shit
Wembayama
to
was going
2.7.
to Wembayama was going to lead the league in blocks this year. I don't know if that's very realistic at this point.
Not even close. He's not going to lead the league in rebounding or block.
Who there?
A witcher.
And
Pumpkins wishes sent to me.
my God,
So
he takes so many shots that if you look at some of the other
away.
more efficient
First,
players
tell me,
throughout the league,
Where's the woman you
Wembanyama
killed?
takes enough shots to where he should be averaging 30 if he was
Aye,
actually
A
at
dwarf
that level.
saw you carrying a human woman.
He is
It's
just so
stupid.
fucking bad.
Sick she. Me carry
So overrated.
her help, feed, pet. But she run go. Mrs. first run go. Red
I would hate to be a Spurs fan right now and
soup
like
only
have the entire future of the franchise wrapped up in this turd, but he's such a fucking humongous bust that Popovich is going to retire out of spite.
Good. One try?
Good God.
Where did you get the elves?
Mrs. bring from Garley's. Like I bring
Andre Drummond had a
Redhead.
25-25
The redheads in
game.
the soup too?
No.
Wow.
Redhead run go.
Wow.
Mrs.
That's
run
damn
go.
impressive.
Oh,
Good for him.
God. Only soup stay.
Tell me, troll, what happened here?
Me in gullies, Mrs. in gullies. Bones found. Nice to know. Then wham! Humis from sky fall.
You're lying, troll. People don't fall from the sky.
Troll true tell. Flash crack. 2 humis drop where Dumble ship. Humi man, big as troll. And woman. I go see.
Was the man bald? Did he have a scar?
Wish a man likes man. See, I from far. Bold, yes. Scar no see. Run he go to gullies. Leave redhead Humi. Down. See I go. Redhead grown. Her pain. Closer I creep. Run she not go. Let her grow. Take me Humi woman. Go home.
Fuck is this guy trying to say?
Go Humi wench thin bones. Hungry missus, yap and yap. Then run go own for food. Give water, redhead Humi. Leaves cover leg. Hummy redhead nice. Pet she when sleeps. Redhead have kerchief. Nice to sniff. Mrs. come back. Elves in hand. Drop, thin wench, idiot, she call. Mrs. Yap, rag give. Troll say not. Nice to feel. Stench troll like.
I'm not following this
Mrs.
well.
say, she or me. Troll think. Nice redhead, nice rag stench. Troll, Mrs. Tell. Mrs. Troll with log beat and run go. Even left elves.
What happened to the redhead?
Redhead wrong pain. Redhead stay. Pain gone. Redhead run go at night. Troll sleep. Wind howl empty.
Do you still have the redhead's bandana?
No, Mrs. take away. Old bug leave elves frag steal and run go.
Where did she go, your wife?
Gullies, Mrs. Gullies like. Gullies me like.
Why don't I look for her?
Wish a Mrs. no kill. Good old bug. Little Batty.
I won't hurt your woman.
Mrs. Tell come back. Be lone, be terrible. Wind howl empty.
Fine. I'll tell your mate to come back, but I need the redhead's bandana.
Mrs. have. Mrs. good. She up give. Soon as she back.
Oh, the Pistons have officially done it. I feel like that team has significantly more talent than the typical worst team in the league. So the fact that they are
Yeah.
a record for futility is a indictment on Monty Williams.
Yes, I completely agree. So receiving the biggest bag in the history of coaching, for basketball at least, to then do this is like the owner should be forced to sell the team, and Monty should never work in basketball again. One of the teams who used to be tied with the longest losing streak ever was the Cleveland Cavaliers the year after LeBron left, and that was a team that had just been
Did I hear you
spiritually
mention a job?
defeated.
Indeed.
They tried
One
like
very much
hell
in your line.
to compete,
I know a collector in Vengerberg.
and
He pays
they
well for all
really,
kinds
really
of
couldn't.
monster-related curios.
Ericus Venom?
Where they traded
Laker
Mo
Hearts.
for Baron Davis
Sounds
and the pick that
doable.
would eventually become
Happy
Kyrie.
fellas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were hoping that it'd
fellas?
help things
I
out,
never asked.
but
Got the order and that's that.
losing that Christmas game
Interested?
What
to
kind of
LeBron, where
award are we
LeBron just
talking about?
absolutely
Why
obliterated
don't we
the
do a
Cavs in
test?
Cleveland.
Bring me a bundle of fine
They were just
feathers for
spiritually
which I'll
broken,
pay
and that,
you,
like,
and if
that
we're
was, I
both
think, their fourth
satisfied, we'll
loss
figure things
in the
out.
streak,
He's gonna
but that's
want
what
more than a
basically
bundle.
created the
That'll
streak.
mean a
Because,
lot of
like,
traipsing
Yeah.
around.
A few more, yes.
at that point, the wheels had
So?
completely fallen
I'll
off.
keep my eyes
But
open, but no promises. I've got
in
more
this
important
game,
things
it's
to
a
deal
close
with.
game, and they barely lose. Break the record, and in this game, Cade Cunningham dropped 41 fucking points.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, they very clearly should not be losing this many games, and they are doing it on purpose, which is another reason why Monty should never be allowed to work in basketball again. As he said to him, he's like, all right, guys, we've got to keep tanking, so let's just be as bad as we possibly can. And then he's doing this shit on purpose. Good Lord. He's getting paid an NBA record for the most that a coach makes ever.
Yeah.
To coach what is very close to one of the worst teams ever. That can't be allowed to happen. That's not okay.
take that.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that too earlier today. So the Packers are going to be a pain in the ass, it looks like.
Packers what?
The Packers are going to be a pain in the ass. They're going to pack my fudge.
Lord. Yes.
Come on!
Hello. We're playing our fucking asses off here for that bullshit call. Offensive offsides? That's fucking terrible, man. What if they called an offensive foul on Michael Jordan on that shot to beat Utah in 1998?
Oh, the push off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Michael
He
Jordan
would
did like
he would have had a
Mahomes.
meltdown on like Mahomes style.
Yeah. That
How,
would have
how could you go? He's like, that was so cool. You're gonna take away that game-winning shot. Oh man. Fucking classic.
Wonder how many more will turn up.
Seymour, you sick cunt. Idiots. Robots. Salubrious rejects. You bleep.
Based.
Ooh, Dr. Robotnik said a bad word. We haven't touched the controller for 45 minutes.
Based.
Andre Drummond is the first Bull to ever post 25 points, or 24 points, 25 rebounds, 3 steals, and a block in a game. He is only the 6th player in NBA history to have a stat line like that. That surprises me. 24 points and 25 rebounds. Like I feel like somebody like Wilt Chamberlain probably did that 800 times, but I guess they didn't keep track of blocks and steals back then.
Yeah, they didn't start tracking blocks until I think it was Hakeem Olajuwon's second season.
She's wounded. Let her bleed.
Better lunge at her all at once. She's weakened.
Not worth the risk.
No, not Hakeem's.
What are you doing here?
We're mercenaries. Currently on King Hansel's pay. We were sent here on reconnaissance.
Kareem?
Barely escaped with our lives from that mist of specters.
Yeah, because they started
Now
tracking
we're up
blocks
against the
in the
furious sheet
1973 season.
Who are you?
Geralt of Rivia.
The White Wolf. We could use professional help, Witcher.
Will you help us?
I can't let you kill her.
Since when does a monster slayer take their side?
None of your business. I need her, and you need to leave.
She killed 2 of my men.
Walk away, and nobody else will get hurt.
Right, yeah. Because that's if they counted blocks throughout Kareem's entire career, he'd probably have the most blocks in NBA history.
The troll needs to live.
Because he did miss, you know, a good chunk of his career where he was already, you know, a shot blocking menace, and they didn't count that as a stat yet. So it missed almost the entirety of Wolf's career.
Yeah. It's generally agreed that he had a lot of games where he would have like 10 to 12 blocks.
Absolutely. Yeah, as a matter of fact, his final season was right before they started counting blocks. So Wilt played his entire career without blocks being a stat. However, if blocks were a stat, let me check. There have been 4 games in the history of the league with a quadruple double. Wilt Chamberlain more than likely could have averaged the quadruple double across multiple fucking seasons of his career, if he wanted to. One of his best seasons, passing-wise, was the 1968
I can't let
Philadelphia. I think they were still the Warriors at the time. But the year before he goes to the Lakers, and he averaged 24 points, 24 rebounds, and 8 assists a game. Off of 60% shooting. That's fucking ridiculous. So if he just passed it just a little bit more, and then they counted blocks as a stat, he probably would have averaged a quadruple double. Which is completely fucking insane. But yeah, that's...
Pretty cool.
He would have had a very large number of quadruple doubles. There's only been 4 in history. Wilt would have had 4 seasons where he averaged. Good lord. Anyway, yeah, amazing fucking game from Drummond tonight, which is very true. The most incredible part is that those 25 rebounds include 10 offensive rebounds. That's just nuts. I wonder how bad is the Hawks front court that Andre Drummond just brutalized them like that.
It's I don't have an answer to that, but good lord, that's embarrassing.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the only thing the Hawks could throw at Andre Drummond was fucking Clint Capella. That's,
I remember Clint Capella.
yeah, that's... Good God.
Geralt, I can't let you kill her.
Since when does a monster...
You know what's genuinely the most impressive aspect of Drummond's stat line tonight? He didn't miss the free throw.
How many did he take? 0?
2.
Oh, okay.
But still, he fucking hit him. Jesus, man.
Better than missing him.
Exactly.
Enough! We surrender! Throw down your arms, men! Spare us! Witcher, the king will pay our ransom.
I'm not looking for a ransom. Leave the troll alone and go your way.
You'll let us go?
You can't return through the mist. It's certain death.
The soldiers of fortune. We're not afraid of death.
Neither do we foolishly seek it. The Witcher's right.
Commander, we were to find a Witcher.
A bald one with a snake medallion. This one's white-haired, with a wolf on his neck.
I advise you to surrender to the rebels.
That would be new to me. I am Adam Pangrat, known as a dieu.
You won't survive for long out here.
They'll hang us. They know Henselt hired us.
Go to Cecil Burden. He'll treat you fairly. But don't count on him outbidding Henselt.
Hear that, boys? Let's meet the Dragon Slayer. The Witcher claims we'll be safe and sound. Gather the wounded. Stop buggering and move out.
Humi's trolls, see? To kill Humi's itchy would kill trolls, sure. You, other. Good, you help. Troll, you help.
If you want to help me, go back to your old man.
No! idiot Hume redhead grope.
He's alone now. He misses you.
Tell him, too late.
Know anything about the woman who was in your lair?
Troll no. Hume ugly. Hume stinks.
Return to your husband if you want to repay me.
Troll don't want, but Troll will. For you other, you good.
Mrs.
Oh,
Bag,
no.
Good. Troll live.
KD joined the
Me
Warriors
back for Wisha ask.
7.5
Stay
years
away
ago.
if Wisha not ask.
How many years
This
ago?
is wise.
7.5
Idiot
years
you.
ago.
Hume woman grope.
No more. Never again.
Fuck.
Give me the bandana.
That's just heartbreaking.
Here, stupid old buck.
Troll give horn. In danger, wisher blow. Troll come.
Thanks. I'll remember that. Now go to your mate. Maybe pick her some flowers first.
Flowers? No. Flowers stench. Troll bring bird dung.
Idiot! What troll doing there?
Nothing.
Me see. Stench!
Stench will run. Go.
Hume stench. Sleep no me.
So, I think that troll tried to fuck Triss, and the troll's wife didn't appreciate it. That's what I got from that exchange. I might be wrong, but I think that's what was being conveyed.
The troll's wife doesn't want you to bang Triss?
No, the troll dude tried to bang Triss, and the troll's wife
Oh.
didn't appreciate that.
Oh. You gotta kill the troll now, right? He's trying to make you pay the troll toll.
I don't know. He's kind of funny. I think I'm gonna let him live. I think I'll let this slide. So, I gained less than 1 pound when I was eating during Christmas, so I'm pretty happy about that when I weighed myself this morning.
Yeah, good job.
Could be worse. Like, who was the best player on that Cavs team after they lost LeBron? Was it Varejao or was it Mo Williams?
Well, I had like 1A, 1B there.
Like, I feel like Cade Cunningham is better than both of those players at those points in their career.
Yes, that is very accurate.
So this Pistons team being on this kind of losing streak like the Cavs were is super not okay.
Yeah. And regardless of that horrendous fucking losing streak,
Only Philippa Eilhart may enter.
they still won 19 games. And no one expects the Pistons to win that much. Anton Jameson was also on that squad. You could kind of say he was the best player.
It's washed up by that point, though, I think.
Oh, absolutely. He was 34.
We thought it over. I'm on my way to the
As washed as it gets.
I don't know.
Hey, Ramon Sessions was on that squad, too.
Big Ramon Sessions on the Lakers.
That's right.
You wanted to discuss something?
Yeah, Anton Jameson on that Cavs team, that was his
Have you learned anything?
fourth to last season. He only
Triss
had
was
3
here.
more after that.
Letho forced her to teleport.
Why
Continued to
wasn't
play the
there
lockout
easier
season
ways to
with the
travel?
Cavs
Two of
in
Letho's
Kyrie's
comrades,
rookie
probably
year,
those responsible for Donovan's
where
death, were
he
hiding among the
still led the
Scoia'tael.
team in scoring.
When
Way
it
to go,
became
champ.
evident in Flotsam that the Kingslayer
Then,
had discovered Morveth,
he
the
was
Scoia'tael leader gave the
backing
order
up
to eliminate
Tau on
Letho had to reach the
the
unit before
Dwight
the other
Lakers.
messengers did. He could
How
only do
about
that by
that?
teleporting.
I
He
assumed
played
that Triss wanted
76
to
fucking
teleport
games.
to me,
That's
but she missed the mark and they
wow.
ended
I
up
think
in
he
a
played
gun.
way too much
What happened
because
next?
Letho
D'Antoni
left her
liked
in
the
a
fact that
gully,
he could shoot
wounded.
threes.
He probably thought that she'd
Yes,
diversify the local
that
troll's
sounds
diet. He himself went to see the elves
Very
and massacred
familiar.
the unit with his comrades.
It was utterly hilarious because
Somewhere
it's like,
on the other side
man,
of
you
the
know,
fog.
if this
What about
fucking
Triss?
squad still had Lamar
She
Odom,
escaped from
D'Antoni would have
trouble.
loved that.
Everything suggests she's somewhere
God.
in the area.
I can assure
Then,
you she is not in Vergen.
Final
She has to
season,
be
he
here.
barely
Locate
played.
her.
I'll
He
try,
stayed in
but it will
LA,
take some time.
but this time for the
Have you
Clippers.
learned anything else?
Sheila
Yeesh.
ordered Letho and Triss killed.
I can't believe that.
Believe it. I ran into some mercenaries she enlisted to kill Letho and anyone found with him.
She must have meant the other Kingslayers.
Huh.
Are you sure she knew
Makes you
Triss was
wonder,
with
though.
him?
Are you so sure?
Because, I
Sheila?
mean, he's been
There was something
eligible
going on between
for
her and
quite a
Triss.
long
I
time.
sensed a lot of tension.
A misunderstanding.
So if he hasn't yet, he probably
Let's
never
find
will.
Triss and clear everything up.
But just in
I
terms
need
of
some
pure
time.
career stats, you almost feel like
What's going on out
he
there?
needs to.
Let's
He
see.
scored 20,000 points in his career and had over
What's going
8,000
on?
rebounds.
The peasants want to take pitchforks to King Demavend's son.
Why?
The Dragon Slayer's servant is spreading rumors that Stennis poisoned Saskia. The commoners are in an uproar. They want to dispense justice.
Where's the prince?
Barricaded himself in his room.
There are much worse
For the
players
moment, the peasants are still
to make the
respectful,
Hall of
but
Fame.
they are feverish. A fight is
Yeah, he
inevitable.
won't make it though.
Help us out. The situation is dire. I'm going to inform the other nobles.
Yeah, like I said, he's been eligible for 10 years, so if he hasn't gotten in now, he never will. But, he was a two-time All-Star, the 2004 Sixth Man of the Year.
Dogs growl at cats. Cats hiss at the dogs. A noble's a wolf to a peasant.
And
Get those
that's
animalistic
pretty
sillies
much
and
it
take
for
care of it.
accolades.
I'll try to locate Triss. And
But
should
still,
anything happen
he
to Prince
is-
Stennis, remember, we need his blood.
I remember.
Yeah. He is 55th all-time in scoring.
I found an
Excellent.
All-time career scoring, he's ahead of legends like John Stockton, Bernard King,
Remember
Dwight
the other
Howard,
Saskia.
Tony
It's
Parker,
very important.
Scottie Pippen,
Say that. I need more time.
Tracy McGrady. He has more career points than T-Mac.
Yeah, but
And
T-Max
T-Max
is so
in.
much better.
Well, yeah, I know, but
And I
It's
don't think
kinda
Jameson
wild.
was ever on any good teams, was he? Except for maybe the last year of LeBron with the Cavs. I think he was part of that team, but other than that, he was always part of those
Yeah,
mediocre
he-
Wizards teams.
Hello, Witcher.
yes, he snuck in to be part of that thing. He was with the Warriors in the immediate aftermath of like them being decent with Tim Hardaway and Chris Mullin. And once that era was over, Anton Jameson came in and was there for the Warriors. He just missed out on We Believe, and then ends up on those god-awful Wizards teams. And like you said, he snuck in to play 22 games with LeBron in Cleveland. He played with Kobe more than he played with LeBron. That's wild.
You're stupid. She just fell unconscious.
The commoners claim it's our
Serfs
prince's
and lords will never.
Geralt! It's good to see you.
The commoners claim Stennis is involved in Saskia's poisoning. They're looking to slaughter him.
What's stopping them?
The knights, Adernian noble lords.
Not easy to raise a hand against a blue blood.
A peasant by the name of Calton was at the council. He didn't seem to respect anything or anyone.
Calton's a blackguard. He'll use any excuse to raid and plunder.
He has a taste for noble blood. They say he buries gold looted from the lords in some gorge. Looks like things are getting nasty.
Hear me! What do you want? I'm Skillen Bolden. I keep order in Vergen.
Or doing a nice job then? Where was you when they poisoned Saskia?
Give us the prince! Get the flails!
Stop!
Yorveth.
Squirrels, everyone who wants to leave this yard in one piece, keep your hands off your weapons. I don't care if you're a serf or a lord. I'll kill you all if need be.
What's going on?
The servant carrying wine during the feast said that Prince Stennis and Olcan poisoned Saskia. We want justice!
You want revenge. It's not the same thing.
We don't care. Saskia's fallen as if dead, while the poisoning prince and noble lords rush to herd us onto the field and sell us to Henselt. We won't let them!
You lie, Colton. Nobody's being sold out. The poisoner must be caught and tried by law.
Your law? What then? He'll pay a fine and get spanked on his ass? We'll spank him all right, with an axe to the throat!
Where's this servant?
Safe. The Scoia'tael keep an eye on him.
Why is the prince hiding in his house if he's innocent?
Enough! I'll shoot the first to reach for a weapon. Then heads will start falling.
There's more of us. You can't kill every...
Then you'll be first. Now back off! We need to act quickly.
What's your plan?
I'll frighten them a little. Bleed them if need be. I'll buy you some time, but be swift. I can't hold them off for long.
Yeah, their next
Question the
game
peasants and the
is
nobles. Talk to the
against
dwarves.
the,
You can get to meet
Celtics. They'll lose that.
Even if he's guilty, I'm sure he's
Man,
prepared
so
to
the
serve.
Raptors...
Could you imagine if they beat the
You'll know how to sort
Celtics?
the sheep from the goats.
Man,
Also, find the
the
servant.
Toronto
They-
Raptors are the only thing that can save
You
the
won't have time to
Pistons
talk to
from
everyone, though.
immortality.
Good. Bloody bastard poisoned the virgin.
They're gonna beat the Celtics
Say,
in
Saskers, come
Boston.
over here.
Why is he link?
Those witches be craving gold. This one's sure to say the prince.
He better search for a lad who said...
Yeah, once done with the prince, he'd better take care of the
Uh-oh. I got a
it really
recommended
all about?
short. It says, when
Who's back?
Kobe welcomed Isaiah
want
Thomas to the
justice.
end.
We
Dot,
don't
dot,
need no one
dot.
backing us. We knows
I'm like,
what to
uh-oh.
do.
How would you punish the prince?
If a lad counts hens wrong, he'll be flogged. What should we then do with a man poisoning others?
Kill him.
A land without a ruler is a nightmare.
We have a ruler, the Virgin of Eden.
It's not certain she'll live.
Then we'll choose another who'll manage. But he must be one of us lads. That way he'll understand us.
And all people is gonna be equal. Our way.
Oh god,
And the
communists.
non-humans?
We have enough down on the fields. Let non-humans find a non-human land.
Away with them.
You know Saskia's servant?
Willie of the Oblates. He handled the wine, indeed, but loves the Virgin like a sister and mother put together.
He'd gladly get quartered for her.
Where's this Willie of yours?
Hiding in his shack, afraid of them lords. Squirrels guard him.
The prince stood right next to Saskia during the council. Did he have access to the wine cellar beforehand?
How should I know?
Why flap your mouth then?
The prince is a wealthy lord. Bribing a skivvy to poison the wine is nothing to him.
Just because someone can afford gold teeth doesn't mean they'll pull their healthy ones. Farewell.
Give
is
us this
nonsense.
whoreflower!
What were the
So I'm starting to figure out the benefit of YouTube Shorts. They kind of
Yeah.
get views in perpetuity. As long as they're not time sensitive, they just kind of keep getting views. I mean, eventually it slows down, but they never really stop getting views. So they just kind of build forever and ever and ever and ever. So if I can make shorts that aren't time sensitive, they'll just keep kind of feeding the beast a little bit. And I think that's the best way to go
Right.
about shorts.
Yes, absolutely. Because, with no ads, it's extremely difficult to, if not impossible, to actually make money off of the short. But what it's there is to help you with the algorithm and to get you a shitload of views and eyes on your channel. Imagine a bunch of other Seahawk channels, or viewers, I mean. Seahawks fans watching YouTube videos and all this who aren't aware of your channel, but they watch enough Seahawks content to where you're short, which, thanks to adequate memery, has now gotten over 1 million views, and then all of a sudden it's getting recommended to anyone who watches a video clip of the Seahawks game.
Right.
Let's go.
All right, guys, I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back in a few minutes to continue on. Okay, we are back. A college basketball team, the Caltech Beavers, lost 207 straight games once. Why do they even, at a certain point, don't you just stop showing up to the games? Like, at a
Yes,
certain
that's
point,
how
don't you
they
just
lost.
forfeit?
That's how they lost so many games. They resigned in protest and forfeited the next 7 seasons.
That's depressing, man.
So I had no idea, but apparently this is a traditional Christmas treat so that's why it popped up in my recommended, and I've been seeing this shit and watching everything. Yorkshire puddings. I thought, based off of the name, not knowing what it was, that it was what we consider to be pudding here in America, where it's like custard kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, pudding is just a term for anything that is eaten like a dessert or like a tasty treat
Say, Witcher, come over here.
over in England.
Guilt must be.
But what a Yorkshire pudding is it's just like it's just a pastry. It's literally just bread
songs praising the
that is
nobility.
cooked in a certain way.
About the attempt on Saskia's life?
No, I don't. But whatever the truth, the mob cannot lynch one with
And
royal blood.
So
they
truth
call it
means
pudding.
nothing to you. That's what makes us different.
I didn't say I don't care about truth. Just keep in mind there's a world order that mustn't be destroyed.
An order that allows injustice.
If the prince turns out to be involved in this attempted murder, he should face a tribunal. The rabble doesn't understand
man,
the
that is
principles ruling
confusing.
the world.
Or they do understand them and simply don't like them.
Saskia is a wise woman, but there's one thing she doesn't take into consideration. This war will be over one day. Who will sow the crops and milk the cows then? Saskia called the serfs to arms. Do you think they'll want to plough fields again?
You may be right, but it's certainly not my business who'll plough your fields. Farewell.
Save your threats for your hog-smelling woman.
Why is he lingering?
Those witches be...
He bet.
Yeah, once...
Farewell.
Why is he?
Farewell.
Give us this horse-plower!
I'd gladly hear your opinion.
Finally, someone reasonable. It's obvious Henselt bribed some serf who then did what he was told.
That's interesting.
Just think it through. The prince couldn't have done it. The wine was in plain sight. Only the servants touched the decanters, and who are they? Commoners. Then that same commoner incited his folk to stand against the nobles and the prince.
Something to think about.
Roll in dung, you surly dog! You will change your tone.
Hurry up, Witcher!
Sickle to your throat.
I'd gladly hear your...
Fine, it's all...
The local peasants love Saskia.
Those surly dogs would gleefully accept a heavy pouch. Show me a serf with any sense of honor.
That's interesting.
Just think it through. Then that same...
Something to...
Save your threats for your...
I'd gladly hear you...
Fine, it's...
Henselt couldn't possibly reach Vergen.
Doesn't he have sorcerers? There's no...
That's interesting.
Then...
Something... I'd gladly hear...
Finally, it's all...
Is all the exact same guy?
That's it.
What?
Nothing, something in the game.
I'd gladly...
Finally, it's obvious...
Yeah, these are all
just
like clones or something.
Give us this horse-plower!
Roll in dung, you surly...
Why?
You know...
Willie of the Oblates. He hadn't...
He glad.
Where's this Willie?
Hiding in his shack.
Farewell.
This is nonsense.
Give us this
What would the prince
horse-plower!
gain with the virgin
Anyone
woman
this
so
dung
much?
I
could tell you what he lost.
Why?
See if
Farewell.
every princeling likes to scheme. Things look bad. The peasants are furious. They finally have a chance to strike back for all the wrongs.
The noblemen won't yield.
They're a cowardly lot.
They know their heads will follow Stennis's.
It's a deadlock, with the prince's guilt still to be proven.
Yarpen says it's someone from Edern. Sheldon, on the other hand, would shave his beard if it's not Hensel's spies.
Anyone reached the prince in his chamber?
Not even close. The nobles guard him like a matron does her ward's hiney.
If the rabble slaughters the prince, there'll be no stopping them. They'll start doing things their own nasty way.
That's why the nobles will support the prince even if they believe he's guilty.
I'm sure Stennis' hands are dirtier than a peasant girl's fucked in a barn.
How many games in a row did that Browns team with Hugh Jackson lose? What was there?
Why would Sheldon suspect Henselt?
He'd sooner reach an agreement with Stennis than Saskia. Her death would be very convenient.
Zoltan?
I'm wondering how anyone could manage to poison the wine. Saskia's a quick-witted lass. She doesn't let just anyone near. Someone she knew must have done it.
Has Yarpen got any evidence?
No, Yarpen's an old cook and says he's got a feeling. Ploughing soothsayer.
He might be right with those feelings. After all, not just anyone can pass through the Wraith's mist. It has to be someone local.
So it never crossed your mind that Henselt might have sent someone here before those ghosts appeared?
Give us this Horplower!
It's good to see someone's...
Can we have a word?
Why not? I'm Ogden. I found...
Oh,
No thanks.
in Hugh's final season, where they did fire him midway
Made it
through,
back in Mayor Farragut's time. Since
he
then,
broke the
each and
losing
every
streak on the
goblet
first
is
game of the season because it was actually a tie with the Steelers,
Mhm.
which is utterly hilarious. In 2017, they went 0-16, so I just have to find here. Oh, right, I remember. The only team that Browns team beat was the Chargers, and it was the second to last game of the season. So their losing streak started with the Steelers, and it ended with the Steelers. They lost to the Steelers in the final game of the 2016 season, lost the entire 2017 season, and then the streak ends in the 2018 season with a tie with the Steelers. So
So it was
that was a
17 games.
17 game losing streak across 2 seasons.
Makes sense.
My goblets are indestructible, impervious to both the fury of sovereigns and servants who are all thumbs.
Saskia's chalice was new.
Aye, it was.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty
Back in Mayor
Chargers, if you
Farragut's
ask
day,
me.
Avenger Saskia was no more than an itch in her dad's britches.
I think the Chargers had a point-blank field goal to win that game and missed it.
Who ordered the goblet from you?
That
Probably.
goblet was a gift. Away from
Matter of
all
fact,
the
if I
evidence
remember
to
right,
Saskia.
that was actually the
I
game
had the
that
honor
convinced
of
my
casting
dad
it
to
and
completely
presenting it to
stop
our lovely leader.
fucking
The
caring
lass
about
loved it so
games.
much, she
Like,
not used any other
until that
vessels since she
season,
received it.
he watched every single Chargers game every week.
Was the order for a normal goblet?
When that loss to the Browns happened, he
It was
said,
supposed to be a
"Oh,
gift.
okay."
I ornamented
And
it
ever since
richly,
then, he
even
still
though
watches
it
football,
inside.
but I haven't watched him
I'm
watch a
terribly
Chargers
practical,
game.
that is, it's hard to get clean. Some scum is bound to remain. But I wanted it looking downright regal, worthy of our Saskia.
He was talking with me about it a few weeks ago, because, you know, since we live in the area, there's still a ton of people around
Any
him
chance
that he
there could
knows
have been
that are
2
Chargers
identical
fans.
goblets?
Why,
And he was
there's
like,
no
"Guys,
craftsman that comes close to me in Vergen.
Could someone have tried to copy
I've been
your
watching the
handiwork?
Chargers for a long
I know
time,
of
and this
one who's been
team
trying for
has
years.
made
He's
me
a
happy so
fumbler,
few
a
times I can
screw-up.
count it on
He's
one
not
hand.
produced one decent
Why would
lesson
I
in
be a
the old
fan of
about
this
the work of a
team?
drunken elf?
Watch
Thorax
them
is his
suck
name.
ass and ruin my weekend week after week after week, when I could instead do anything else with my time and not be miserable."
Enough of this charade! Try to be reasonable, folks. Sit down and talk in peace. We've talked enough. Come on, lads, let's drag the prince from his hovel.
Vergen's not a cesspit for
I'll be right
anyone to
back.
shit in. There are laws to abide, and Scalen Burden's job is to uphold them.
There's no law allowing a serf to threaten a king's scion. I, Silgrat, brother of Seltkirk, the greatest knight to walk Edirnian land, say so.
Does it matter who was born in a castle and who in a pigsty? Any fool can prejudge and condemn. It's easier to accuse than to prove guilt.
A peasant servant claims that Prince Stennis supposedly attempted to kill Saskia. Why would the prince do such a dastardly deed? Bear in mind how eminent is his lineage.
That's why. The mongrel covets the crown.
Do you even remember how valorous he was towards Saskia during the negotiations with Henselt?
Pretending to be with her, he was, sly fox. Taking the simple peasants in. But us lads ain't so dumb as you lords think.
See for yourselves how the commoners hate the prince, spitting venom like adders. They hatched a plot to dispose of him.
Saskia's servant said that...
Where is this servant, might I ask? If he's got something to say, why does he hide like a thief? The answer is simple. He's a fraud.
He's hiding to save his skin from you, whoresons. Squirrels have to guard him.
One last question. How could the prince poison Saskia?
It's a known fact that servants taste wine from the barrels before the Virgin sips it.
No need to poison the wine. Smearing the poison inside the chalice would be enough.
I never heard of anyone poisoning a chalice.
You haven't heard much, then. One of the Emperor's forebears died after sampling some lamb. He was always scared of poison and ate supper with his cook. The murderer spread poison on one side of a knife. Then he cut the meat so that only a small piece was poisoned.
The Witcher's right. Give us Stennis.
Saskia's got her own chalice.
It was commissioned from one of the dwarves. The order came with a very detailed drawing.
Even so, how did it come into Saskia's hand?
A good point. We can't be sure if the prince poisoned the wine.
Stennis is blowing hot and cold. Everyone knows that.
You were supposed to prove his guilt, not insult him, yokel.
Tell us who else would do it. A peasant wanted to hurt the miss? Never. It's cause of her you noble dogs can't ignore us. A pig won't cut its own throat. A peasant's not foolish enough to raise his hand against his savior.
Perhaps it is no peasant's deed. However, that doesn't mean the prince is guilty, fool.
Answer me this. Was not Stennis' room next to Saskia's? Do not the wines come from his own lice-ridden cellar? Can he not enter the Virgin's kitchen at will? Yes. His serene Damed the Prince can, curses on his kin. Nobody in Vergen wants to kill Saskia. And even if they wanted, nobody but Stennis could do it.
Those are just words. Too much guesswork and not enough evidence. You can't convict anyone based on that.
Your Highness, this is dangerous.
I am not afraid. Fear is a commoner's trait, unfit for one with royal blood running in his veins. What do you want, to judge me? Is a prince a common thief who steals a dozen eggs at the market? You stand before royal majesty, and you raise your hands against it. In this world there are crimes that can be forgiven, and crimes that, by any means, cannot. Just as a mother killing her own child, or a man slitting his own brother's throat cannot be forgiven. A crime against one anointed by the gods themselves also cannot be condoned. He who raises hand against divine right is not worthy to walk this world. And what about he who poisons the Virgin of Edern? Firstly, Saskia is alive, so no one can blame me for her death. Secondly, you have no proof that it was I who tried to murder her. And thirdly, I assure all gathered here, I won't rise above the law. However, only she, the Virgin of Edern, can judge me. Can he? And if Saskia won't get well, who's gonna judge you? I believe she can be cured. But if the gods decide otherwise, we'll summon a coven of the wise who can pass just sentence.
Those are words worthy of a true sovereign!
I am the one you should look to for guidance. Let my deeds be the flame that lights up your darkness.
The prince has a right to a fair trial, no matter if he's guilty or not. We can't deny him that. What will the peasants do if we hand them the prince? Will they hear him out? No. They'll hang him from the nearest tree or tear him limb from limb. What will happen if we allow a lynching? What if people see that might makes right? Who'll guarantee they won't desire to avenge their wrongs, real and imagined? Who'll protect people whose only fault is noble birth from the exasperated mob? And where will it lead?
Won't someone please think of the billionaires?
The peasants are furious.
They didn't dare mount a frontal attack.
But they haven't forgotten about Stennis, and won't. It'll be that way until Saskia regains consciousness.
She won't keep order by strength alone.
Unless it's a great strength.
We need an authority figure.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I got the Metroid Prime Remaster for $21.
In the Dwarven dungeon at the moment.
Nice.
There's also Henselt.
Isn't it normally like 80?
I think it's 40 from GameStop.
No. Anything involving Stennis will cause a riot.
I've had enough of the peasants and nobles barking. Saskia's the
I've
best
never
leader I
really
know,
played it
but
before.
she
I played
can't
it a
hope
little
to
bit,
defeat
but
Henselt's
not enough to
army
get a
with this
feel for it.
rabble,
So that's
which is
going to be
why I'm
interesting.
going to get reinforcements.
Where?
The roughest part about Metroid Prime to me is just the controls.
Time to summon
Because the game...
Time?
I must.
Exactly, so the remaster should be substantially better than the original. The original had tank controls, and running and gunning was not really a thing.
Yeah, I know it's not really
yeah,
a
the remaster
first-person
should be able to-
shooter. It's more of a first-person adventure game.
Which is fine, but even then, it's still tough to control when you have decades of fucking muscle memory relating to, games controlling like Halo.
Yeah. Does anybody make tank control games in the modern day anymore? It seems like that's kind of gone extinct.
The only time you ever see it happen is when people are specifically making a retro game. And you occasionally see it in remasters when they offer the option to have legacy controls available to you.
I
But-
actually like tank controls. I think they work really well for survival horror. Because it makes it hard to control. It makes everything scarier because you're less equipped to handle threats.
Exactly. And, if you run into trouble and you need to run away, tank controls make it take time to turn it around. I mean, that was one of the biggest fucking revolutionary concepts of Resident Evil 4, is that a single button press would make you do a 180.
I tried locating Triss, but the mist disrupts the megascope.
Oh,
There's
what
a
the
weak
fuck did I
signal
walk
nearby,
into?
probably on the other side.
In the Kidweni camp?
You'll have to pass through the mist.
The mist is full of wraiths.
I'll help you. I'm continuously scanning the battlefield. I'll show you the way through. I'll find you when you enter the mist.
Farewell, then.
We still need royal blood.
I know. Henselt.
We need his blood, not his death.
How many times do I have to tell you I'm not a Kingslayer?
Obrigado. It is Daryl. Okay, that's it.
Anyone order an exquisitely adorned goblet from you?
I get the occasional commission for tableware, sure. But what exactly are you talking about?
Saskia's goblet. Was that your handiwork?
That ugly bucket! Did you intend to offend me? Whoever made that thing should be whipped! I certainly hope Saskia orders her vessels from me next time.
If she gets a chance to order anything again.
Ah. Well, that's annoying. No, it doesn't.
I'd have got new sweatpants. My hope is that they fit me better than my current ones.
Sweatpants. I am a big fan of the sweatpants.
Okay.
I'm a sweatpants respecter.
These sweatpants are double extra large, and I look like Subway Jared. At least in terms of when he did the thing with posing with the pants. These were fat pants for me, definitely, and they just like I'm wearing a fucking circus tent right on my legs. It was funny, and I asked my mom for sweatpants. She's like, "Are you sure you want a smaller size?" So then I pulled my pants out. I got like a foot of fucking clearance. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, at least you're covered if you go on a 40-pound eating binge.
Exactly. If I end up like Subway Jared the bad way, I've got there's enough space in here to smuggle a child.
You know, that's one thing I can say about myself. I don't fluctuate between extremes when it comes to weight. Everything I do is kind of slow and gradual and chill. Like, in the Boogie episode of the Caleb Hammer Show, Boogie said he goes back and forth between, I think, 360 and 400 right now. So, 40 pounds one way or the other. And Caleb says he does the same thing. Now, he's obviously not as overweight as Boogie, but he's like, yeah, I go on these eating binges and I'll gain 40 pounds and then I'll drop it and then I'll gain it again. And I'm like, man, that sounds fucking miserable, gaining that much weight and then losing it back and forth, back and forth. Seems like you'd be doing awful things to your body to maintain that.
Yes, long term, that is very bad for your health, and that's why I like fasting, is that I've kept the weight off. Instead of fluctuating like I have so many times in the past.
What's the heaviest you've ever been?
Sorry, I perhaps ironically, given the subject matter, took a big bite of food right when you asked that question. Ever been? I was right on the cusp of 300 pounds. I think I was like 299. Mentally, I just rounded it up, and that's when I was like, okay, this is fucking outrageous. That's when I tried fasting for the first time, as I was like, something's got to be done. And it worked like a fucking charm. Like, I lost 30 pounds almost instantaneously. But then I stopped for a while, because
Someone in chat wants to know how tall you are.
I am 6 even. So, yeah, I was 300, pretty fat. Nowhere near.
I think I've gotten up to 220 before. And that's my highest.
Right. Whereas me, I've got enough muscle mass to where for me, 220 is like a comfy weight for me. Because, I like feeling strong, and I don't want to feel small.
Yeah, our mutual friend I talked to him about this a while ago. I think he said he's never been over like 160, but he's 5'8", so it's a little easier, but that's still pretty impressive, I think.
Yeah.
Magic or danger?
Yeah. Moogie takes pretty good care of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Which, considering his location, is kind of impressive. I mean, that's kind of like one of the best parts of the country in terms of food that's really bad for you.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, there's definitely two things I highly recommend to just about everybody in terms of losing weight and being able to keep the weight off.
Excellent.
Try to reduce your carbohydrate intake as much as you can. That doesn't mean eat no carbs. It doesn't mean you gotta go on keto. But if you really take the time to look and pay attention to what it is that you're eating every day, you probably eat way more carbohydrates than you think you are.
Excellent. I await
I
your
definitely
return.
do that.
And taking different opportunities to just reduce that intake and not even change your eating habits that much. For instance, I bring it up all the time, but switching to eating a thin crust pizza. You know, I'll never forget as I was reading Little Caesars nutritional information, and a regular hot and ready is like 3,000 some calories, and then a thin crust is like 1,500 calories. All of that is just less dough.
Yeah, I like the crust though. Six to 140. Yeah, ball bearing. That would be a problem.
Well, I really enjoy thin crust for two reasons. Number one, it's always cooked really well, which I love. There's nothing that ruins the pizza to me quite as much as when stuff is undercooked. You know, when the dough is like soft and chewy. Some people might like that, I don't. I like when thin crust is nice and crispy. Because then it's still foldable, but now it feels like eating a taco.
That's right.
Yeah, 6'2" and 140 would definitely look like you were on drugs or something like that. Yeah, that's really not good. When you say you got a prescription to gain weight, was that like your doctor gave you tea or what? Completely believe it if you said that whole thing happened because you had like a massive tea deficiency.
And I can't fucking wait to go to the gym on like probably January 2nd and seeing how full it is because of all the people on fucking New Year's resolutions. It's gonna be packed. I'm not looking forward to it.
See, I'm curious as how it's going to go too, because the kind of people who do New Year's resolutions and are the kind of people who get a gym membership every year, show up for like 2 weeks and then quit, also are a lot of the people who fell for the COVID scam, so I feel like they wouldn't show up because they're too busy being masked and vaxxed at home. I know my gym would be fucked because it's one of the biggest gyms in terms of customer base year-round. Within, like, 20 miles in any direction. However, I think a lot of other gyms in the area would actually be pretty good. Matter of fact, I feel extremely confident saying that because I've noticed as I drive around town delivering, a lot of gyms that used to be around town have actually closed down.
Strange aura.
To be fair, though, that's because those were more privately owned gyms. And, any small business COVID didn't kill, Biden finished the job. Depression, anxiety, and insomnia. Did 3 things. Antidepressants. Knocked me out for 8 solid hours. Yeah. I tell people all the time, you know, because the 2 biggest things that people don't get in terms of building muscle is also the easiest. Because, you know, everyone freaks out about how difficult working out is. You want to build muscle, the 2 biggest things for you is to make sure you're eating enough and make sure you're sleeping enough. You know, I bring up LeBron James as an example because no one in the world could deny that he was a phenomenal athlete. When he was in his absolute prime, his absolute peak, from 2013 to like 2016, he would talk about how he averaged 12 hours of sleep a day.
There goes the PC.
One of my weightlifting idols, Eddie Hall,
Lady Saskia will defeat Henselt and make
owner of the world deadlifting record, deadlifted 1,100 pounds, metric ton, or half a metric ton, sorry, 500 kilograms, and is the only man from the United Kingdom that ever won World's Strongest Man. When he was competing in World's Strongest Man, he slept for almost the entirety of the day. Because he would get 8 hours of sleep during his sleeping period, and he would take 4 to 5 naps throughout the day. Like, he would wake up, take his kid to school, come back and sleep, wake up again just to eat, and then go back to sleep, wake up again. Now he'll work out, and as soon as he finishes working out, he will eat and then go back to sleep. Wake up, eat dinner, go back to sleep, wake up, bang his wife, and then go to sleep for the day.
Wow. So I can
He was
actually argue that
basically like a bear and
is actually good for me.
is the same as a world-class athlete, correct? You know, you just got to be like Mac from Always Sunny or Cultivating Mass. You know, anybody gives you some shit, it's like, hey, I don't see you lifting 1,100 pounds. Yeah, from right after his record lift, yeah, he had a brain bleed. It almost killed him. He says that he doesn't remember the actual lift that he did. Because he was like, you know, I was conscious and I was responding to people, and no one knew that anything was wrong with me, but I can't remember any of that because as the doctors told me, I had a pretty significant brain bleed from doing that, and my brain was just not forming any new memories from the experiences that I was having at that point. But fuck me.
Oh, I did play Dragon Age Origins like 10 years ago. It's a great game. I liked it a lot, but I mean, I don't know if I feel motivated to go play it again. I did like it a lot, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, the franchise kind of pooped out after that one, more or less, so...
Yeah. Now, Dragon Age Origins is a good game, and unlike some other games, it actually has aged well enough to where you can go back and still enjoy playing it. The problem with Origins now is the same problem that Origins always had, which is the segments with the fade last for so much fucking time Many people's runs have been killed by how boring that segment actually is. And to this day, the most popular mod for Dragon Age Origins remains skipping the fade, where they just remove that section of the game completely. It's not fun.
What the fuck?
Don't try anything.
Anyway, yeah, especially eating. I can't tell you how many times in my life I've known a guy who was like naturally rail thin. Like naturally like a 6'2", 140 pounds type, like Ball Bearing was saying. And they sit there and they're like, dude, you don't understand, man. I eat all I want, man. I eat all the time, dude. I eat so much and I just don't gain weight. I'm like, okay. I'm gonna hang around with you all day and I'm gonna see what you eat for myself. What do I see every fucking time? The dude thinks that he's eating a ton when he has like one fucking burrito from Del Taco and that's like the only thing he ate the whole day. It was like fucking tiny. I'm like, bro, this is not how you gain weight. So then I take him to the grocery store. And I'm like, hey, what do you want on your tombstone? You know, I get him a fucking Supreme pizza. You know, I get one that's at least 2,400 calories on the box. And we sit down and I'm like, you're gonna eat this whole fucking thing.
Eh? That's a Witcher, not a human.
Because I'm like, you don't get it, man. In order to gain weight, you have to intake more calories than you burn. And, you know, to bring up Eddie Hall again, to maintain the weight he was at, plus trying to build as much strength as he possibly could. And, Big Country mentioned Brian Shaw too, both of them. They, their caloric intake in a day would be anywhere from 12 to 15,000 calories a day.
So he thought he could do anything.
I'm like, you have no idea how much you gotta eat.
Maybe it'll all blow over, or maybe there'll be another war. History's like a coin that falls out of your pocket. You never know where it's gonna roll.
Saskia needs help, Cecil. Philippa can produce an antidote, but she needs a magic artifact to do that.
Would you like a fern and a dancing worm to go with it? Listen, I don't know about magic, but there is a place, as long as I can remember, it's been of interest to sorcerers. They say it's a very strong intersection. Look for magic there.
Where exactly is there?
Seek out the ruins in the forest beyond Bergen. There's a place of power there. You can't miss it. Why so glum? Saskia's a tough girl. She'll bounce back. Keep your head up.
Thanks, Cecil.
No, Witcher. I thank you. Save that lass, and you'll save my town.
Forget, is there any way to increase the size of your health bar? Because I'm looking at your health bar right now. I'm like, that's kind of small.
I think you can level it up over time, but leveling up in this game is pretty slow and hard. And you have to go through like a skill tree. In fact, let me see if I can take a look at it right now. So this is all swordsmanship stuff. Okay, here we go. If I can work my way through this tree, I can get up to this, which will upgrade my vitality by 50 points. And I'll bet the other... Yeah. We have other similar things in the other trees.
Yeah. Because, I mean, by all means, and especially, you know, since you're already level 19, I'm not going to sit here and say, you need to respec, or, hey, you should level this or that, or blah, blah, blah. But in other instances where you've had difficulty because, you know, you just lose so much health and you weren't regenning fast enough, it's like, get more health.
The way that I think that's the kind of the cycle of this game. I think you're supposed to have a hard time.
Well, yeah, like I've said, a number of times during this run. Witcher 2 is definitely regarded as the most difficult of the trilogy. Because they did what a lot of games, when they make a sequel to a well-received game, like Mass Effect, they want to streamline the game. And that's exactly what Witcher 2 did. Compared to Witcher 1, they streamlined the game, but they didn't want to fall into people think streamline means they dumbed the game down and they made it easier for retards and normies to, easily beat the game and all this. They said, we're streamlining the game, but we want to make this tough. We want to make this challenging. We want to make this something that, the purists who were fans of the first game will still love the sequel because of how challenging it is. The sound portion took place in Witcher 3. And to no one's surprise, it ended up selling way the best. So,
Mm-hmm. You just have to be willing to wait 3 years for the game to actually be fixed, and all is well.
Exactly. And I think after all this time, it's fair to say it, because the games are well received enough and significant enough in the gaming culture to where I think the comparison's accurate. CD Projekt Red is basically Polish Bethesda. You gotta wait after release for quite some time for shit to get fixed. Bethesda does it through modders. CD Projekt Red, bless them, they do it through actually patching the games themselves. But playing a game on release is exactly as retarded. And once it's been a while and stuff's gotten fixed, you got a phenomenal game waiting there for you. Witcher 2 was only on 2 platforms. If I remember right, aside from PC, it was also on the Wii U.
Fucking imagine. Fucking imagine playing this game with the Wii U. Looked like a PS1 game.
Seriously, I was watching this this YouTube short, and this was a guy who used to work at Blizzard, and he'd been with Blizzard for 20 years during their golden age. So used to work at Blizzard isn't just something that you put on the resume. This guy's like, he's pretty significant. But he had left during the development of Overwatch 2. He thought the direction that the whole company was moving in had been dog shit for such a long time. He said, fuck the whole thing. He was talking about a number of years previously where they were at a gaming convention and they'd set up like a demo booth, and they had 2 stations. One had a controller and one had a mouse and keyboard. And he said, now on day 1, I felt old enough as it was when I saw that the kids didn't know how to use a mouse and keyboard, and they were really struggling with it, so there was a huge line for using the controller. No one really wanted to use the mouse and keyboard. I felt old enough saying that. So then day 2, we say, okay, we're just going to have both of them have controllers to make it easier for the kids. Day 2 comes around, and then we start seeing a bunch of kids push the controller out of the way and start trying to touch the monitor.
Are we sure that those were kids and not like chimpanzees or something?
Hey, don't be...
I mean, like...
No! Stop it! Don't do it!
Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Why would they be touching the... like...
Because they didn't know what a controller was. They're only experienced with interacting with a computer that has a touch screen.
Oh.
That they grew up... Right, they grew up with iPads and smartphones, and they can't conceive of a computer that requires input from a controlling device, whether it's a controller or a keyboard and mouse.
If you had a kid, how old do you think that kid would be before you get them, like, a cell phone or a tablet?
I would say quite older than a lot of kids nowadays. And that's because my intent when I have kids is I would like to live in a rural area. I would like to not necessarily have a farm, but like have some animals and have, a vegetable garden. Try to make the place as self-sufficient as possible and homeschool the kids. Trust in my own ability to understand things. Moreover, my own ability to find a good curriculum online, and also knowing that the vast majority of state-sponsored education nowadays is just to make sure that the school has more kids that are going to college, because then the school itself gets paid based off of collegiate attendance, not for them to actually learn anything that goes and helps them get a job. And as the common concern is that homeschool kids are socially retarded or whatever the fuck else, like, just enroll them in a bunch of local youth activities, because there's a fucking shitload of those all over the damn place. They just don't go to school, which is perfectly fine, because I wouldn't want them associating with a lot of the kids that do go to school in the first place.
Yeah,
If their school experience ended up being anything like mine, they grew up to be even more based than me.
I had a friend once who was born in Sweden, but he lived in, I think, England at the time. So, he was a European. He had lived his whole life in Europe. Right. And when I told him I was homeschooled, he initially assumed my parents were like religious freaks or something. Because to him, that's what homeschooled kids were. That's the only context he ever saw them.
That's the common canard, because it's pushed from the same people who want your kids to go to state-sponsored school to ensure that they only hear what is approved for people to think and to believe. I don't see a ton of difference between somebody who believes that the government doesn't lie to you at all, ever, and they just completely follow everything that the government tells you to do all the time. I don't see a ton of difference between somebody like that and somebody who's like a Quaker or whatever the fuck, like a Jehovah's Witness.
I actually like Quakers. Quakers are cool.
Damn monsters.
Well, everyone's met different kinds of people. And base their preconceptions about the group from those experiences they had. I mean, a ton of people think that Amish people are fucking weird and fucked up, but I'm all like, hey man, of the Amish people I've met, they're a fucking wonderful group of people.
Like
Unfortunately, I was gonna say, unfortunately, at this point, I couldn't, live without electronics. But if I had never known them, I'm like, man, I'd enjoy being part of an Amish community. Holy shit.
Yeah, I like Mormons too. Mormons seem like the Mormons I've known have all been really good people, honestly.
And have great family lives. That's something to look up to.
Yeah, if you have a conversation about this with Steven, he'll even acknowledge like how great the community is. He just couldn't believe in some of the stuff that they push anymore, so that's why he left it. But he does acknowledge that like there's some really great stuff in there, and that it's even the stuff that I don't like is harmless mostly.
Right. And if I still had the opportunity to talk to Steven, I would ask him if he ever thinks sometimes that maybe not blowing up his life over not wanting to believe in the Mormon stuff, maybe it wasn't a better decision to go in that direction instead of just like continuing to be a part of that community that he himself says is good, and to live, a normal, functioning, happy life, and just pay lip service to the whole thing. I mean, there's got to be plenty of people who are doing that.
Yeah.
not just with Mormonism, but fucking everything. Where they're like, yeah, I don't totally jive 100% on this whole thing, but you know what? Screw it, because I got a pretty good fucking life here, so whatever.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, was standing on what you thought was the principle when you were in your 20s, is that really worth everything that you went through? But that's the same question that we would all ask each and every one of ourselves once we get to that point, I think.
Yeah, like I saw this one tweet on Christmas Day of this guy. I can't remember who it was, but he was at, his family's Christmas gathering, and a 5-year-old kid got an iPhone 12 or something for Christmas, and he's 5. And he was just talking about what a terrible idea he thinks that is. And he's probably correct.
Yeah, I think getting your kids something like that is a little difficult because you can't control what they're doing. And when they're young enough, they're, aside from the constant concern about them being impressionable, there's also the chance that they're going to end up in a lot of situations you don't want them to be in, or meeting people that you don't want them to meet. I mean, hell, how many Subway Jareds are there out there in the world that just been taking advantage of unsupervised kids being on the internet alone? It gets to be a sticky situation because it's like, well, you want your kid to have a phone so they can contact you if they're ever in trouble. So I'm like, just buy him a fucking Nokia from years ago that doesn't have an internet connection, actually calls people.
Yeah, and I think kids are not even supposed to look at screens until they're 2 or 3 years old, because it screws with their eye development or something like that. I remember reading about this at some point. They're not even supposed to have screen time until they get to a certain age.
I believe it.
Parents who let the YouTube Kids app raise their kid are the reason why those 3 a.m. potion YouTubers made it so big. Because some parents will literally just put an iPad in front of their kid and put autoplay on the YouTube Kids app on all day, and those videos will come up because they're very popular for the Kids app.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's good that kids are watching videos like that.
Yeah, and that's another thing that makes it tricky. Is just like you said, this shit pops up on the YouTube Kids app, so there you are thinking you've done a good job setting the parental controls up, and yet what are you getting? You're getting that bullshit.
Yeah, you're getting Spider-Man impregnating Elsa videos, apparently, as well. I remember that was the whole thing. Those people kept making these retarded videos of this pop culture character impregnated this pop culture character, and they blew up on the Kids app.
Right. Really, really messed up. I was a kid. There were all kinds of great kid shows on. Like Bear in the Big Blue House.
I don't remember that one. Talking about really little kid shows, I remember some of those. Oof.
And good old cartoons. Which to this day remain good for kids. Western cartoons, not at all. And are very horrendous and heinous. But anime, like we were watching when we were kids, just dubbed animes.
Yeah, I can't wait to show my 6-year-old kids Evangelion.
Exactly.
Alright guys, I'll be right back. Give me a few minutes. All
If
right,
you
everybody,
scroll
we're back.
down in the comments of that post, there's some hilarious shit. Like this fucking AI generated image here.
Fuck. Bruh. That's a certified bruh moment right there.
Absolutely. Oh my god. You'll love to see it.
My fart.
I was watching this pretty funny video of Manning brothers doing the Monday Night Football, and Peyton was doing a thing with Eli where Eli was pretending to be a coach, and Peyton he's pretending to be the quarterback as he's receiving the play call from the offensive coordinator, and the first thing they did was, okay, here's a good coach. Here's what a good coach does. And all the coach does is just call up the play, and then Peyton says, okay, I got it, and then he relays the information of the huddle. They're like, okay, now here's what a bad coach does. So now Eli is talking all this shit, and he's all like, yeah, so, he does the play call. And he's like, but now remember, if you see their safety coming down, you got to do this. And if you see the cornerback is playing man defense, you got to do that. And all this other shit. And it's funny because Peyton, he started doing this hand motion where he's waving him off like, yeah, I get it, shut the hell up. And it clicks in my head after all these years watching this shit. I'm like, you know what? That's what he was doing. Every time you see that shit, is he was telling his offensive coordinator, shut the fuck up, I know what I'm doing out here, trust me. Like, you already gave me the fucking play call, let me read the damn defense. I know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Shit, you stink.
So yeah, that was just really amusing. With my Red Dead run, I decided I'm gonna do low honor because I've never done that before. I'm just robbing people like constantly, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Like I had a random encounter in the wilderness where some O'Driscolls were robbing this innocent guy. So I come up and I tell the O'Driscolls, "Hey, you leave that poor man alone right now." And then they get in a fist fight with me, and I kick all three of their asses. So then the guy starts thanking me. He's like, "Oh, mister, you just saved my life." So then I'm all like, "I'm gonna rob this guy instead." And Arthur, I shit you not, he just goes, "Hey, don't thank me yet. It's just now it's me you're dealing with."
Hooray, give me all your money.
Exactly. I was like, this is some Foxford shit. Oh man. Now, how about that? The first pump-action shotgun was patented in 1882. I have no idea why the fuck it takes so long to be able to unlock one in Red Dead 2.
Because it would be OP, probably.
Well, yeah, more than likely, but it's like this is a 17-year-old design by now, come on. Yeah, Ukraine has started conscripting men over the age of 45. Their current cutoff is now.
Doing that.
Yes, the current cutoff is now 65. So, Big Country said earlier, he's like, I don't know if I'll ever have kids at this point. Joker and I can both understand the feeling, because American women suck so much ass. It's because the culture's poisonous and all these bitches got big heads. If you want to find a good wife to start a family with in the coming years, it's going to be a Ukrainian woman. Because pretty much every man under the age of 40 in that country is dead or has fled the country and is interspersed throughout the entire world at this point.
You know, I don't actually know what
I have a
Ukrainian
feeling.
look like. Are they just Slavic?
Yeah, just Eastern European, Slavic white woman, you know. There's virtually no recognizable difference in appearance between them and Polish women, Russian women, Romanian women, Georgian women. I think that's going to be where the world ends up over the next decade. Is anybody who wants to go wife shopping is going to take a trip to Ukraine.
Kedmil,
Greetings.
thinking
About
about.
as long as the mist of...
I ponder something else. We women must leave the shadows. When fighting, we're equal to men, but off the battlefield.
Women are no warriors.
We do everything the men do, and as well as they do. Gender doesn't determine ability.
Talk alone won't get you anywhere.
If I could only prove myself.
You're a member of the Skoyatel. It's not an army, as you have no fixed hierarchy, but you fight every day. You need to realize that you're just not taking the opportunities you actually have. Think less, do more. Godspeed.
eh?
Rotten times.
So, you thought it over? I'm on my way to the recruiting station.
I don't know.
You got it, chum.
You wanted to discuss something?
I found one of the ingredients for Saskia's cure.
Show me. Interesting. Getting warmer, but still not there. It's as if I'd sent you to get me the sun and you'd brought me a candle. We need something massive, an item of real power, Geralt. This is a dwarf's dream. Stolen and magically encased in this crystal. It would do if it was stronger.
You know what this means? In addition to normal harpies, there are Solano in the area.
Solano?
Dream Snatchers. The only harpy species to develop something resembling intelligence. They magically bind dreams to mountain crystals. I heard they once inhabited this area. Solano live among regular harpies, but their lair should be full of stolen dreams. One of those would be powerful enough, I'm sure.
You'd have to enter the harpy lair through the quarry. Unfortunately, the gate to the caves is locked and Cecil Burden won't open it. I asked him on another occasion. Stubborn as a mule, that one. But we must not relent. Saskia clings to life by a thread. Let me show you the desire contained in this particular dream.
Oh.
Don't be hasty to judge.
Yes, I can feel it. Whose dream is it?
Cecil Burden's.
In that case, I need to see the alderman. Got a feeling he just might open the gate for me. I need to get inside the harpy lair.
No chance.
I know all about the harpies. They steal dreams, collect them. I found one, but it proved too weak for our purposes. I need a stronger one. So I'm asking you nicely, open the damn gate.
Listen, Witcher. I want Saskia to recover, I do. But don't ask me to turn this town into a circus just before we battle Henselt. My grandfather locked that gate for a good reason. Imagine if we could all go in there to look at those dreams. Dwarves, peasants, their scoia'tael, Aedirnian nobles even. All seeing the desires of others. Terrifying. It would be the end of Vergen. What's more, legend has it the oldest stolen dreams can become reality. And I don't want nightmares stalking Vergen's back alleyways come nightfall.
Open it. I'll make it quick.
Stop pissing me off. You're acting like a drunk suitor. No means no.
You know, don't know if I should mention this, but the dream I found belongs to you.
What are you talking about?
It's an embarrassing affliction, I imagine. Hell, even something of a political liability in your case. Some might even call you a freak. You're the alderman. An ages-old tradition is vested in you. On top of that, you now lead the preparations for Vergen's defense.
You wouldn't dare.
Imagine your ancestors carved in stone. Condemnation, not pride on their bearded faces. Who knows? Maybe you'd keep your office, but you'd be the talk of the town for ages. And your nephew? Poor kid.
I'll open the gate. I promised Scalen's mother I'd be sober as a judge to the end of my days, and I aim to keep my word. I don't give a damn about ages-old traditions and piss on loose talk. But you're right. I cannot compromise Vergen's morale.
Poor bastard.
You must bury this thing. The secret dies with you, never to be spoken aloud. Understand?
I do. Thanks, Cecil, and good luck staying sober.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. Thanks for coming out. I will see you guys sometime tomorrow.